Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. So this morning we'll be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 5, Text 32. Yeah. So if you could please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Krishna Varnam Tvisha Krishnam Sangopangastra Parshadam Yagya Sankirtana Prayar Yajantihi Sumedhasaha Krishna Varnam Tvisha Krishnam Sangopangastra Parshadam Yagya Sankirtana Prayar Yajantihi Sumedhasaha Krishna Varnam Tvisha Krishnam Sangam Pangastra Parshadam Yagya Sankirtana Prayar Yajantihi Sumedhasaha. Yet. Okay, we'll do the word by word. Krishna Varnam, repeating the syllables Krishna. Visha, with a luster. A Krishnam, not black, golden. Saanga, along with associates. Upaanga, servitors. Astra, weapons. Parshadam, confidential companions. Yagyar, by sacrifice. Sankirtana Prayari, consisting chiefly of congregational chanting. Yajanti, they worship. He, certainly. Sumedhasaha, intelligent persons. Translation. In the age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead who constantly sings the names of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions. Purport. The same verse is quoted by Krishnadas Kaviraj in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela, chapter 3, verse 52. His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, has given the following commentary on this verse. This text is from Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.32. Srila Jiva Goswami has explained this verse in his commentary on the Bhagavatam known as Kramasandarbha, wherein he says that Lord Krishna also appears with a golden complexion. That golden Lord Krishna is Lord Chaitanya, who is worshipped by intelligent men in this age. That is confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam by Gagramuni, who said that although the child Krishna was blackish, he also appears in 3 other colors, red, white, and yellow. He exhibited his white and red complexions in Satya and Treta ages, respectively. He did not exhibit the remaining color, yellow gold, until he appeared as Lord Chaitanya, who is known as Goda Hari. Srila Jiva Goswami explains that Krishna Varnam means Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Krishna Varnam and Krishna Chaitanya are equivalent. The name Krishna appears with both Lord Krishna and Lord Chaitanya. The name Krishna appears with both Lord Krishna and Lord Chaitanya Krishna. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but he always engages in describing Krishna and thus enjoying transcendental bliss by chanting and remembering his name and form. Lord Krishna himself appears as Lord Chaitanya to preach the highest gospel. Varna Yati means utters or describes. Lord Chaitanya always chants the holy name of Krishna and describes it also, and because he is Krishna himself, whoever meets him will automatically chant the holy name of Krishna and later describe it to others. He injects one with transcendental Krishna consciousness, which merges the chanter in transcendental bliss. In all respects, therefore, he appears before everyone as Krishna, either by personality or by sound. Simply by seeing Lord Chaitanya, one at once remembers Lord Krishna. One may therefore accept him as Vishnu Tattva. In other words, Lord Chaitanya is Lord Krishna himself. Sangopangastra Parshadam further indicates that Lord Chaitanya is Lord Krishna. His body is always decorated with ornaments of sandalwood and with sandalwood paste. By his super excellent beauty, he subdues all the people of the age. In other descents, the Lord sometimes used weapons to defeat the demoniac, but in this age the Lord subdues them with his all-attractive figure as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Srila Jiva Goswami explains that his beauty is his astra, or weapon, to subdue the demons. Because he is all-attractive, it is understood that all the demigods lived with him as his companions. His acts were uncommon and his associates wonderful. When he propagated the Sankirtan movement, he attracted many great scholars and acharyas, especially in Bengal and Orissa. Lord Chaitanya is always accompanied by his best associates like Lord Nityananda, Advaita Gadadhar, and Srivas. Srila Jiva Goswami cites a verse from the Vedic literature that says that there is no necessity of performing sacrificial demonstrations or ceremonial functions. He comments that instead of engaging in such external pompous exhibitions, all people, regardless of caste, color, or creed, can assemble together and chant Hare Krishna to worship Lord Chaitanya. Krishna Varnam Tvisha Krishnam indicates that prominence should be given to the name Krishna. Lord Chaitanya taught Krishna consciousness and chanted the name of Krishna. Therefore, to worship Lord Chaitanya, everyone should together chant the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. To propagate worship in churches, temples, or mosques is not possible because people have lost interest in that. But anywhere and everywhere, people can chant Hare Krishna. Thus, worshiping Lord Chaitanya, they can perform the highest activity and fulfill the highest religious purpose of satisfying the Supreme Lord. Srila Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, a famous disciple of Lord Chaitanya, said, the principle of transcendental devotional service having been lost, Sri Krishna Chaitanya appeared to deliver again the process of devotion. He is so kind that he is distributing love of Krishna. Everyone should be attracted more and more to his lotus feet, as humming bees are attracted to a lotus flower. How much more is there to read? Oh, okay. Almost, okay. The incarnation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is described in the Vishnu Sahasranam, which appears in chapter 189 of the Dana Dharma Parva Mahabharata. Srila Jiva Goswami has quoted this reference as follows: Suvarna Varna Hemango Varangash Chandanangadi. In his early pastimes, he appears as a householder with a golden complexion. His limbs are beautiful, and his body smeared with the pulp of sandalwood seems like molten gold. He has also quoted Sannyasa Krich Chama Shanto Nishta Shanti Parayanaha. In his later pastimes, he accepts the sannyasa order, and he's equipoised and peaceful. He is the highest abode of peace and devotion, where he silences the impersonalist non-devotees. Om Jnanativarandasya Gananjana Shulakaya Chakshulan Maditamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karitavachalam Pangam Langayate Garim Yakapadamaham Bande Shri Gurunditarinam Vansha Kapadiribhishcha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this morning's verse is describing what constitutes an intelligent person in this age of Kali. And that is a person who worships Lord Chaitanya, a person who takes to the chanting of the holy names of Krishna with great sincerity and attention. Thank you. That is what constitutes an intelligent person in this age. So someone may have many qualifications and may seem intelligent. What are some things that generally people have by which others consider them intelligent? Anybody have any ideas? It's a easy one. Wealth, okay, that's true. Very good. Srila Prabhupada, one time he said that, how can you tell if someone's intelligent? And he said if they have money in their pockets. So that's true. What else did generally people see in others by which they consider them? Yes, material education, that someone has some degrees, PhD or whatever. That's true. Considered intelligent. What other things? Skill? What type of skill? Business skill, music skill, okay, any type of skill considered intelligent, able to learn something, pick it up, do it well. That's true. Any other thing? What was that? By the way he speaks. So if the person's an eloquent speaker, or if they speak well, then people say, oh, very intelligent. Yes. What was that? Beauty? Can you explain further? Think that, so if they're beautiful, people think they're good people, or yeah, there might, yeah, that's true actually. I'm thinking about it more. Sometimes if someone's not externally beautiful or handsome or whatever, people may think, oh, maybe this person's not so intelligent or something based on their physical appearance. That's true. So in this way, there's so many different ways that people judge people and decide whether they are intelligent or not, based on wealth, based on beauty, based on education, based on the way they speak, based on how much money they have in their pockets. And in a sense, yes, it's a type of intelligence to learn how to do something well, to speak well, to have money in your pockets. It's a type of intelligence. But that intelligence, all of those things, if they're not connected with Krishna, they're considered to be completely valueless, like a zero, right? So many zeros, and it just adds up to zero. Or one verse says that so many of these different things are considered to be like a decoration on a dead body. Just valueless. Srila Prabhupada had, when he went back to India, there was one young man from Europe, and he became interested in Krishna consciousness, and he came to meet Srila Prabhupada. And the person was an architect by profession. He knew how to build things and design things. So devotees, they were preaching to him, and they're helping him become a devotee. And then when he first met Srila Prabhupada said to him, "What's the use of decorating a dead body?" That was one of the first questions. And the person was thinking, there is no use. And Srila Prabhupada said, exactly. And he said, so you help us design this temple, the Juhu temple and the Vrindavan temple. He helped design those temples. Srila Prabhupada initiated him. So Srila Prabhupada is making the point, what is the use of your talents? What is the use of your ability? What's the use of your life if you do not engage it in Krishna service? There is no use. Srila Prabhupada gave the example of you're walking on the street, you're walking down, where are we? Gurley Avenue? This is Gurley Avenue. Walking down Gurley Avenue, you see a screw on the sidewalk. You pick it up, and you may not even pick it up. Just keep on going. It's like considered useless. But that screw at one point was connected to some important, whatever it was, some type of machine or something. And it had some function. So similarly, the idea is that we all have value. We all have, our lives are valuable. We do have purpose. We do have these things. But it should be connected to Krishna. So in terms of intelligence, a really intelligent person is defined in this verse. It means that they take up the chanting of the holy names of Krishna. That's an intelligent person in this age. That's a wise person. They take to the chanting of the holy name of Krishna. And whether or not they have any of these things, wealth or beauty or education or money, they may have those things and they could use it in Krishna service. But if they don't have those things, if they're still engaged in the chanting of the holy names of Krishna, the Srimad Bhagavatam describes them as the most intelligent person. And a person who has all these things and doesn't engage in the chanting of the holy names of Krishna, they're actually not intelligent. Or we could say their intelligence ultimately has no use. It's valueless. So this is what the Bhagavatam is saying. So we should try to take the message of the Bhagavatam seriously in our lives, which means to try to understand it and practically implement it in our lives. There's many things that can be done in a wrong way. Sometimes people think, yes, if I would have moved here, if I would have moved there, if I would have got this job, if I would have got that job, then I would have been more happy or satisfied. One person was speaking with an elderly, wise gentleman about this, and he said that, my dear boy, he's an older man, he said, there's more than one way to be wrong. In other words, there's so many ways to be wrong. So one issue is just not knowing. That's a really unfortunate situation, to not know. The second issue is to know, but to do it in a wrong way, because the result's not achievable if it's done in the wrong way. Like I was at one temple, and in the morning they put Srila Prabhupada's bead bag on when they're chanting japa, right? So I was thinking, are they going to put the bead bag on? And then just a minute later, they put the bead bag on, but they put it on wrong. Like Prabhupada's hand was here, but they just put it to the side. It's like completely wrong. I said, all right, well, I mean, he had it in his mind to do it, and he did it, but it was wrong. So then a minute passes by, and then they come, and they fix the bead bag. But they're chanting on their bead bag, and then with their left hand, they're fixing Prabhupada's bead bag and putting it on his hand. But you could say he had the right idea, but he also did it wrong. You're not supposed to do stuff with your left hand like that, like culturally. So one thing is to first get the right idea, but then learn how to do it properly. Like in ignorance, people don't understand that, okay, we need to take shelter of the chanting of the holy names of Krishna. People don't understand that. That's an issue. Okay, but then knowing that is you could say in a sense the problem is solved, but then they have to go further. They have to do it properly, chant properly. Like Srila Prabhupada when he was when he was chanting japa, right? Those recordings would go, sit properly. So So in other words, there's a science behind things. There's a science how to cook. Those who know how to cook know that there's a science. Even if you don't know how to cook, you could tell that somebody's not following the science by having what they had, and if it's wrong. Like, why doesn't anybody put grapes in halava? Have you ever had grape halava? Anybody? Grape halava. You've had pineapple halava. You've had peanut butter halava. You've had strawberry halava. You have carob halava. You had so many halavas, right? Probably. But no one's ever had grape halava. We have raisin halava, but no one's ever had grape halava. Because it doesn't mix. Or like bitter melon and sweet rice. You just don't mix it. So there's like a science behind cooking and taste and so on. Deity worship, there's a science. We don't put a peacock feather on Srimati Radharani. She doesn't wear a peacock feather. So with the chanting of the holy names of Krishna, there's a science. How to chant properly. And there's many books that describe that science. Like you have one book by Borijan Prabhu called Japa, describes that science. You have Harinam Chintamani by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. It was his appearance day recently. He writes in the back of that book that the sincere devotees of the Lord will consider this book more valuable than life itself. That's like a really intense statement. It's because sometimes we may read something and it may not, or let's say I may read something and it may not appear to me to be more valuable than life itself. But that's what he's saying about Harinam Chintamani, which describes the science of chanting Hare Krishna properly. So there is a deep science behind chanting Hare Krishna. It's simple in a sense, but there's a lot. There is a lot to it. So if we could try to become more acquainted with that, then we'll have a better chance of becoming successful in the chanting of Hare Krishna, which is the most intelligent thing to do, as this verse is stating. And we have so many wonderful examples of that. Recently, it was the disappearance or appearance of Srila Haridas Thakur. I guess I have it here. Disappearance, yes. Disappearance of Srila Haridas Thakur, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur, the Charya of chanting the holy names of Krishna. And he would chant at least 192 rounds a day. It's a lot of rounds. I was just told that one temple, what they do is they chant for 3 days, 64 rounds. 64 rounds, 64 rounds, 64 rounds. It's like a weekend celebrating Haridas Thakur. So in that way they make their way up to 192 rounds, at least within 3 days. So you have Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur as the prime example of chanting the holy names, and that he had so much faith in the process. So much faith that even he was willing to give up his life. When the rulers of that time came to him, followers of Islam, and him being born in that type of family, they were very angry with him because he gave up his religion and he joined what they thought is a Hindu practice. Why are you giving up your Islamic background for this Hindu practice? This is wrong. And they said they brought him. He was brought to the ruler at the time, And the ruler told him that you have a choice. You could give up this chanting of Hare Krishna, give up Krishna worship, or you could die. And Haridas Thakur, he said that famously, he said that you could cut my body into millions of pieces, but I will not ever give up the chanting of the holy names of Krishna. So that was his faith. And then at that point the ruler said, take him away. So then what they would do is they would publicly beat people to teach people a lesson that if you do this, then this is what happens. This is what happens to what we consider to be criminals. So he was beat in one marketplace, and most people would die in one marketplace. But then it was the second one, it was the third one. He was making his way up, 4th, 5th, 10th, 15, 20. He's made his way to 22 marketplaces. And he was completely absorbed in Krishna consciousness while all of this was going on. And he noticed, he looked at the soldiers, and he noticed that they were starting to feel a little worried. They looked worried. And he asked them, are you worried, or what's seemed to be disturbed? And then the soldiers said, yes, that we are worried that if we don't kill you, if you don't die by this, then we're going to go back and our ruler's going to kill us. So then Haridas Thakur said that, okay, well, if my existence is causing you trouble, okay, and he went into samadhi, as if he would died. So they thought he died. So they asked the ruler, what should we do with his body? And the ruler said, don't bury it, because if you bury it, it'll become a place of pilgrimage. He said, just throw it in the river. So they threw Haridas Thakur in the river, and he was floating down. And then he came back to consciousness, or out of his trance, and he came out chanting Hare Krishna. And later in the Mahaprakash, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, for 21 hours, he was displaying his godhood. He sat on Vishnu's altar, and all the devotees were there, all of his associates, so Murari Gupta and Kolavetra Sridhar and Haridas Thakur and so many others were there. Amazing descriptions in the Chaitanya Bhagavat. So Haridas Thakur was called up, and Haridas Thakur was asked by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what do you want? What is your desire? I'll fulfill any benediction you want. And he said that, let me be a humble servant of the servant of the servant of the Vaishnavas, birth after birth, and let me take their remnants. Let me have the association of your associates. That was his desire. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he granted him that desire, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu revealed something to him and something to all the devotees there. A very wonderful thing he revealed. And he said to Haridas Thakur, he said, when those soldiers were beating you in those marketplaces, I was going to immediately send my chakra there and kill them all. But because you were praying for them, which is amazing, because you think, how could you ever pray for such people? I mean, somebody's beating you, trying to kill you, and something violently in 22 marketplaces. How could you ever pray for such a person? But he was saying, because you were praying for them, my chakra lost power. It couldn't kill them. because you're praying for them. Which demonstrates the heart of a Vaishnava, that the heart of a Vaishnava, the heart of a devotee is so vast in terms of mercy and forgiveness that it's practically inconceivable. And that's also what we're meant to become, like that, at least in some small way, that we have great mercy within our heart and also forgiveness. It's very important. We're living in the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Some people are married, some people are not married, some people, but whatever the case is, whether we're married or not married or whatever, but we're constantly dealing with people. To be in a society, to be in a community, means we're dealing with people. And what does that mean? It means sometimes people offend us. Sometimes we offend people. That's sometimes what happens. So therefore, this principle of forgiveness in Krishna consciousness is extremely important, because we could literally hold things within us for years. Lifetimes even. So Haridas Thakur displays this great forgiveness and tolerance. So, and then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he took off his chadar, and then he showed Haridas Thakur his back. And then on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's back, there were these markings where the soldiers. So he explained that I actually took these beatings on your behalf, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is what he displayed in that section. But you see the great faith of Haridas Thakur. He had so much faith in the holy names of Krishna. He was willing to risk his life. So you have such examples of that, which we're meant to meditate on and gain inspiration from. Of course, we have Srila Prabhupada's appearance, at least in America, via boat, coming soon. They're having a big celebration in Boston. So many devotees will be going there. You're all invited as well. But it's a wonderful celebration. They'll go out to the Boston Harbor on a big boat, and they'll glorify Srila Prabhupada, and so many Prabhupada disciples will be there, and they'll be talking about, have a big festival there. And he's another example of a perfect example of someone who has great faith in the holy name of Krishna. And practically, he said that I don't have any other qualification. Of course, we understand that accept that to be his great humility. He says, I do not have any knowledge, I don't have any devotion, but I have full faith in the holy name of Krishna. But it highlights the importance of that. He had faith in the holy name of Krishna. And therefore, he was successful. Like, there's the example of a Kinchana Das Babaji, one of Srila Prabhupada's godbrothers. He'd just be chanting Hare Krishna all the time, laughing and chanting Hare Krishna. So, at Srila Prabhupada's sannyasa initiation ceremony, there was a yajna going on and so on. And then there was, some devotees were chanting, and then the priest and different people, they're saying, oh, can you lower the chanting? They're kind of going, lower the chanting. So then they would lower the chanting, the volume, and then Srila Prabhupada would say, kind of behind their backs, he would say, increase it. And they're going back and forth like this. And later, when Krishnadas Babaji was asked about Srila Prabhupada's success, he said, yes, I understood that this person would be successful, this devotee would be successful because of his faith in the holy name of Krishna, that if anyone takes to it, if anyone meditates on it, if anybody engages in it, then they will be elevated to the position of a Vaishnava, despite whatever their birth is and background and everything like that. So we should try to understand that to be intelligent doesn't mean we have so many material qualifications and we do not use them in Krishna service. That is actually unintelligent. The most intelligent thing to do is whether we have those things or not. If we have them, we could use them. If we don't have them, that's okay. But the most important thing is to take shelter of the holy names of Krishna. And we have such wonderful examples of that taking shelter of Krishna, and Haridas Thakur and Srila Prabhupada and so many wonderful devotees of the past and also of the present. So we should try to avoid the offenses as far as possible, especially sadhu ninda, which is offending the devotees. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, the devotees cannot be criticized for the birth that they took. They cannot be criticized on the basis of their birth. They cannot be criticized based on the sinful activities they committed before coming to Krishna consciousness. They cannot be criticized for the accidental or whatever sinful activities they've engaged in while in Krishna consciousness or while trying to be Krishna conscious. And he goes through this whole list. So then you wonder, what can the devotees be criticized for? It doesn't seem like they could be criticized for much at all. So it's a tendency that has to be controlled, has to be checked. Constantly checked, this tendency to criticize others, unless it's for the purpose of fun. I'm just joking. Unless it's for the purpose of teaching others. We could criticize to teach others, if we have to. Srila Prabhupada said that one thing he didn't like about being a guru was he had to criticize others. But he would do it for teaching his disciples, and he criticized others to educate his disciples. So, yeah, it's something that has to be constantly checked. And as Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, that every morning and every evening we should beat our minds. Broomstick shoe. And he explained further what that meant. That we shouldn't be quick to find faults with others and declare ourselves a true devotee. And he said, which certainly I'm not. And we should always remember Bhaktivinoda Thakur's songs where he criticizes himself as being a liar, a cheater, an insincere person, on and on and on and on and on. We should always remember such songs and ceaselessly engage in the chanting of the holy names of Krishna. And he says this fault-finding tendency, it's not a quality of preachers or devotees, it's a quality of deceitful persons and should be given up. So that's what he said about that. So I always try to remember that because, it's Kali Yuga, means that there's an ocean of faults. It's very easy to see. So I try to stay away from that. Okay, so we'll stop there. Does anybody have any question, comment? Mike is coming your way. Walk the mic.
Is the detailed story of Haridas, is that in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, or you said Chaitanya Bhagavat?
Okay, thank you. Yes, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's a number of wonderful pastimes of Haridas Thakur and all the associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And in the Chaitanya Bhagavat, there's also wonderful pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. These are the two authentic biographies. There's also one by Murari Gupta. I think it's called Chaitanya Charita or something like that. I'm forgetting, but these are the two main ones. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he wrote commentaries on the Chaitanya Bhagavat that's been translated into English. So, yes, what I described and the beating in the 22 marketplaces and all of those descriptions are in the Chaitanya Bhagavat.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a wonderful book to read. And yeah, Srila Prabhupada decided to translate the Chaitanya Charitamrita, but he also, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami himself mentions the Chaitanya Bhagavat in his work, the Chaitanya Charitamrita. And Srila Prabhupada wanted us to read other Vaishnava literatures as well. So it's good if we could read as much as possible all of these things.
Thank you so much. That was so inspiring to hear. So
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi Krishna.
Hi,
Hi Krishna Prabhu. Thank you for a wonderful class.
Thank you.
So, from beginning we hear that, all these qualities that, people possess, education, wealth, or whatever, are big zeros, and you simply add Krishna, and he's the one.
Mm-hmm.
So what if we start adding Krishna in our lives just because we want him to be that one, and we're really interested in, really adding value to our zeros, and not so much
Interested in Krishna.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, people worship Krishna for so many different reasons. If someone was to ask us, why do you worship Krishna, or why do you chant Hare Krishna, there may be so many things we come up with in our mind that we may say publicly, or there may be things that we just say internally, why we worship Krishna, why we chant Hare Krishna. There's different reasons people worship Krishna. I mean, we see, like in Bhagavatam, you have Dhruva Maharaj. He wanted revenge. That's why he took to the worship of God, because he wanted revenge. And he wanted a bigger kingdom. Like, he wanted everything, pretty much. I went to a mall one time to get a suitcase. I won't do that again. But there was one person wearing a shirt, and it said she was shopping, and could have been he, whatever, but she was shopping, and on the shirt it said, all I want is everything. And I thought, oh, that's honest, But you see Haridas, or you see Dhruva Maharaj, it's not that Dhruva Maharaj wanted to live in a better place in Dallas, in a better neighborhood, or it's not that he wanted we just saw this nice picture here. The mind went to this vacation-looking spot. It's not that he wanted a few vacation homes around the world, but literally he wanted everything. It's like, practically speaking, in history, it's the biggest material desire example that I could think of. So, yeah, he wanted everything. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, he loved to hear about Dhruva Maharaj and Prahlad Maharaj. It says in the Chaitanya Bhagavat that he would hear it hundreds of times, Dhruva Maharaj. It's interesting. Does anybody have any idea why? Why he would want to hear about Dhruva Maharaj hundreds of times? It's interesting, like, why would he want to hear about Dhruva Maharaj? It actually, in the Chaitanya Bhagavat, it actually doesn't go into detail why. It says he liked to hear about Dhruva Maharaj. So some devotees, they do some, if they call it philosophical speculation, why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wants to hear about Dhruva Maharaj. But one thing is that he's a young boy. Like in the whole Bhagavatam, you have examples of people who are unqualified in certain ways. Gajendra is an elephant. Kubja is not very beautiful. Ugrasena, he's supposed to be a Kshatriya. I mean, he is a Kshatriya, but he's not. He was conquered by Kamsa. Sudama, the poor Brahmin. So you have these different disqualifications. You have Dhruva Maharaj, a young, immature boy, but it demonstrates the power of bhakti. He became purified. So even if we want something other than Krishna while engaged in Krishna consciousness, it's better that we still engage in Krishna consciousness than try to seek that separately. It's better that we go to Krishna. Because going to Krishna, gradually, over time, Krishna will elevate us, and he will purify us, and we could come to the point, just like Dhruva Maharaj, that we're just satisfied with Krishna. So yeah, that's the basic idea, that if we have material desires, we can still engage in Krishna consciousness, and we could still go to Krishna, and gradually we'll come to the point of pure devotional service by the mercy of devotees and our own efforts and so on. Does that satisfy the inquiry to some degree? Okay. Any last question? Yes.
Thank you very much, Prabhu, for choosing this topic. Wonderful topic to meditate on and contemplate. As you mentioned about Srila Prabhupada, I was thinking our Hare Krishna movement, the explosion took place, or rather the Hare Krishna bomb got exploded at Tompkins Square Park, right? And that came through an ignite by Srila Prabhupada's full faith in the holy name. That was one thing I was meditating on. And I also can recall, I come from Mumbai, and one of my god brothers...
You come from where?
Mumbai.
Oh, okay.
So I lived in Chopati, and one of my god brothers, he was instructed by my spiritual master Radhana Swami to start a center in a holy place called Nasik.
Mm-hmm.
So there is this one particular ghat on the bank of the river, holy river, where it is said Shurpanaka's knows what cut. So that is the place. So he didn't know how to start that center. This was like 25 years ago. So all he had was faith in the holy name and instruction of the spiritual master. So he just took a pair of kartas. For 21 days, I think, continuously, he would just go sit there and chant Hare Krishna. He's not a singer, so to say, from external point of view, he's not that skillful in music. But 21 days continuously, he had full faith, just kept sitting there chanting whole day. And then Krishna sent one big business magnate, and boom, big center, and now there is a temple, and there are thousands and thousands of sincere devotees.
Great.
Just thought about it.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you. Yeah, there's a number of examples like that. Devotees just going to random places and kind of living in austere conditions out of their car or this or that, and just gradually through their sincerity and their determination, their chanting, meet this person, meet that person. Then just like Salem, South India, there's this temple coming up. Practically, I mean, it's up, but they're completing it. It's an interesting temple. It's just stone, just complete stone temple. And there's no rebar, there's no concrete, it's just like pure stone, and they're just how they used to with other temples, putting it all together like that. It's a huge temple. But this devotee, he's originally from Europe, so he doesn't even know the language there in South India, and of course they're speaking English too, but different culture, this and that. But he just goes down there, and just a very simple beginning, just as a brahmachari, and gradually builds up. Now there's this huge temple coming up, so it's amazing. Yeah. You have yes.
Yes, Prabhu. Well, we were hearing the purport where it was described that an intelligent person just engages in the chanting the holy name, prioritizes that. I was reminded of a pastime that His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj writes, and I'll build you a temple. And then I looked it up to make sure I got the details right. But I remember Maharaj says in that book, he was the temple president as they were building Juhu, and so many problems would happen every day, like problems with the temple complex and the civic authorities, and then disputes among devotees. And so he writes that he would deal with those problems, but every Sunday, I think he said, they would have a 12-hour kirtan. So he said he would deal with the problems Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. He said once he got to Thursday, he would tell the devotees, just give me a few days to think about it. Just let me have a few days to think about it. Because he knew that every time without fail, as they got closer to that Harinam festival, the problems would resolve themselves. Either people would find a solution or the conflict itself would fall away. So every time he had faith like that, everything would be purified by the end of the week. And obviously, I don't think that would work for me, but for someone like Giriraj Swami, who has complete faith in the holy name and knows how to prioritize that, miracles.
Yeah, great, thank you. Yeah, all the temple presidents should keep that one in mind, that story. All right. All right. Okay, thank you all very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Or Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Not sure how this. I figured it out.